Okay, so I'm kind of sick today, so sorry for the voice. I already recorded this today, yesterday, but I wasn't really happy with the recording one and stuff. It was kinda too much all at once, so today I'm just gonna make a video where I will explain how I tackled this day of seeing my data and stuff. So I'm gonna do I'm gonna go through my breaths first and then tell you my thoughts about every one of them, and then I can also go through the respiratory rate, because there's also stuff to be said about that. And then I'm also gonna say stuff about the PS right here, and then I'll make further videos about how to interpret your data and stuff. It's really hard to not shake my camera with just one hand. So here is the beginning of the night, and I'll just say that for some information, this right here is a time breath. You can see those on on your Philips machine if it's an ASV, which is nice because that makes me able to explain these breaths to you. But honestly, it's still like kind of a guess for what happens here, but it makes it easy to see where you're almost having an apnea. So that's gonna help me tell you guys what they will look like, because you can obviously see them well if you also just zoom in. So here I fall asleep. It's pretty normal to have jacked up like this. And then here I'm just gonna skip forward. Here I enter a more normal sleep. I'll keep going forward until here, for example. What happens here is the question. So you can see here my breath is getting cut off. I would say that this is more of like a flow limitation, or you could also say that it's an hypopnea, but it honestly doesn't really matter, because all that matters is whether you're seeing your central drive to stop breathing happen, or you're seeing actual collapse of your throat, tongue, or resistance from your nose. That's the only things you can tell from here. So it's either you get resistance or you get too much O2. So right here, I wouldn't say that I'm getting too much O2, because everything looks kind of, I wouldn't say nice, because you can see that they're peaking here. That means that there's already some kind of cutoff from my nose or something. It makes it harder for me to breathe, or because the PS is just high and my breathing drive stops here or something, and then it falls back. So I can't really tell that from here. But then here, what would this be? Well, let's see here first. What happens here? You can see that here, the breaths look all the same, and then here it's suddenly a bit different. Oh well, I can't really tell. Here I try to inhale, you can see that. So full exhale and then inhale. What happens? I can't breathe in fully. So I basically stop breathing for a bit, and then I try to exhale a bit more again and try to breathe in. And here you can see a slight recovery in a way, or a momentum spike. I'm not sure what to call it, but this breath is bigger than this one right here, which most likely means that this part wasn't central at all. And then here you see further what could be happening if my tongue was already trying to choke me. Well, here it gets cut off. You can see a similar pattern right here a bit. Boom, I try to inhale, you can't. See? Now, here's a cool part with the timed breaths. Even if it's like at 10 seconds, if you just stop breathing for a while, the machine will help you. And if your PS is high enough, then it can break through the, how what I call that, like your obstruction. So right here you can see my obstruction is saved. This should normally not happen. So this is not a central. I would say that this is an obstructive. And furthermore, here you can see the cutoff happens again. Weird breath. Try to exhale again, and then I can inhale again. Here I wouldn't be able to tell, but this could be more of me just trying to stabilize. And then here it continues. Let's go further. Here again I get like a timed breath, and this one I think is obstruction, because you can see right here that the top is like really cut off, so that means I couldn't breathe in fully through here. And these ones are also looking really flow limited, like they're like seesaw patterns, which is not normal breathing, but it's still normal enough to not wake up. Like I don't think I woke up from these fairly, because you can't really see a big recovery breath here. It's kind of wild. But for sure, this could still probably impact, like, if you have a lot of these next to each other and you don't wake up from them, they could probably still make your blood pressure go up and down, which is really bad. And that's when you get, like, the bedtime peeing problems, which I still feel a lot right now. I constantly feel like I have to go to the bathroom really badly. But my sleep is feeling a bit better though. I mean, a bit better. I can do a lot more stuff right now. I don't feel sleepy right now at all. I feel more like some weird fatigue kind of right now. My eyes are a bit dry. That happens to me a lot when there was a lot of like face tension from jaw clenching probably. Because the tension goes through to your eye glands. And then it's hard for your eyes to get normal tear production. Cold hands also happen a lot when I wake up, but those are also dissipating more quickly now after I wake up. So that happens when you titrate your PS or EPAP properly and such, and your ears. So I'm gonna show you guys how much PS I have right now quickly, because I haven't yet. My EPAP is at 4 because I haven't upped this yet. And every time I started upping this at the beginning, I started feeling worse. So I've just been upping PS only to this right here right now. And it actually only reached like PS of 10 almost today, which you can see here. So 9.5 is the baseline, and when it detects that I can't breathe, it ups it. So it barely spiked up. So and I have ears, so that probably just means that I'm like at the end of what PS can do for me. Although yesterday it was a bit higher, but I'm probably gonna keep it at this gap and then try to up EPAP slowly and see if I need ears with that. So further examining the breaths. This one right here, you can also see some cutoff. So here my tongue is probably collapsing again, or the airway, or my nose. But although I don't think that you can see my nose being on here that much, because now I don't feel like it's getting, how would I say, if my nose is like half clogged right now, the PS is so high that it just overcomes that through one nostril. So I never really feel resistance from my nose that much anymore when sleeping now. So this would probably be more of somewhere with your tongue collapse, or I mean, for me, my throat, although I don't think my throat collapses. Not sure yet though. Go further. All of these look kind of flow limited too. They're not normal breaths, but they are not causing any like waking up. So they're all good, I would say. Here too. This one doesn't look that good, but so on. Here I have a recovery breath, which is bad. These ones you would actually want to lessen as much as possible. So what happens here probably is when you see this, why am I having it? I have normal breathing here. No, I didn't. Every breath right here probably stacked up and I couldn't get more oxygen to stabilize it. So what happened was, boom, I got a recovery breath here. And then afterwards, there's this weird thing going on here where I just randomly can't breathe in anymore. I apparently had a recovery breath and then my tongue just fell off its like position or something, or it was too bad, it got sucked into my throat more, or collapse happened. What happens here? You can see I'm trying to inhale these weird spikes. I can't inhale, I exhale again, inhale again, can't exhale again, another recovery breath. So here I'm freaking out basically. Further, you can see this is probably maybe central or obstruction, doesn't really matter, but here you can see we've been seeing the pattern already. There are multiple obstruction events which I would probably want to up PS or EPAP more for. Probably gonna do EPAP titration now from now on, so that's basically what you should focus on then. If, for example, you would be having like a ton of like, let's say not right here but right here more, like you can see here my breathing is trying to stabilize more, or there's still obstruction, I can't really tell. But imagine if here you're constantly seeing like centrals happen afterwards, then you might want to up CO2 and they're not like obstructions then. So that hasn't happened for me here because I already upped the CO2 by a lot, which you can see here. I've written it down how much cc I'm using. I'm using like the mask tube, which is 15 millimeters, and then these two are both 22 millimeter tubing. And here you can see I'm using like 200 cc, so that's like 4 tubes of 15 centimeters that are 22 millimeters in diameter, I think, and then 3 tubes apart of 50 cc, somewhere around this. I'm not sure if it's exactly 50, but it's around there. I tried to measure them. And you can see that I don't have those constant like centrals, although you're never really sure though. I would just like try to experiment with how you feel. When I up the CO2 too much, I feel more sleepy, I guess. And then when I try to lessen it, I feel more wired if it's not titrated properly. So one is like tired energy, and then the other one is actually sleepy. Like I feel like I'm gonna fall asleep constantly. So that's something that you will want to like balance, I guess, here. And the more PS you get, the more ears you will probably need, because it's just not normal to have that much PS, because it ventilates you like a lot. So further, here you can see the same thing happens again. I would say this is also some sort of collapse or obstruction, whatever you want to call it. Even more proof of it. Here also rounding. And the thing is though, for me now, you would say like, I mean, a lot of people would say, oh yeah, you have to up PS more here, right? But it's more complicated than that. And people in like the cpap thing would say like, oh yeah, you have to up your EPAP more. But I mean, some people will feel worse on EPAP and some people will feel worse on PS. I would just like see how you feel the next day and up PS only by 0.5 every day. And make sure that if you're getting centrals, do not go up more. Like that's just gonna make you feel a lot worse. Then try to experiment with ears like I have right now, or if you can get your hands on it, maybe you would do really well on an ASV like this one. A lot of people report a lot of benefits from that, but not the ResMed one. I feel like the ResMed one is kind of really wacky. If you, I mean, at least if you're obstructing a lot too, it doesn't work properly because it's gonna just like bombard you with PS whenever it sees you stop breathing, which can wake you up really easily from your sleep, and that's not good at all. Like for here, you can see with the Philips one I showed you earlier, when it actually gave me extra breathing, I didn't wake up from it. Where was that? Right here, you can see it too. I stop breathing, it gets the backup rate. I don't wake up, and you can see that because there's no what's that called, like recovery breath. There's no large spike afterwards, which signifies you waking up and putting in a lot more effort to breathe. You have to wake up to be able to do that. Here it doesn't happen. So with the ASV from ResMed, I did have that a lot. So that's one thing you should really look out for. Oops, almost dropped my phone. Going further now, more into the night. Here I'm getting more deep sleep, so we're not seeing a lot of things. As you can see here, the pattern is pretty just a line. It still goes up and down though, and here you can see some sort of collapse. And then here REM sleep starts. You can see it by how flat this is right here. Let me see. This is flat. And then here, it's still like kind of flat, which is what you want to aim for. But not completely. You can see that it's going up and down, up and down. It's like spindling, kind of, which is good. Here, it stopped again. It's still early in the night. There's not that much REM sleep here often, more deep sleep. So here was REM. Still pretty unstable here, because here you can see with the markers that I have right here. I'm not gonna check here, or maybe, I don't know, yeah, let's see, there's a lot of obstruction here. Here you can see it clearly, or it's maybe not obstruction and I'm just turning around. I'm not really sure here, because it's so mixed up. It's similar to when I fell asleep at the beginning, I guess. So I can't really tell there. And then here I go into REM sleep, so... Normally, if you would get obstruction here, I would think that you wouldn't be able to go into REM sleep afterwards. So, I don't think that is maybe. Here's again more collapse. More collapse is really wacky. In REM sleep, you will always see that everything is just more garbage. But you don't want to get completely rid of that. You want to help your REM sleep out to be able to perform REM sleep. Like right here, it's pretty stable. This is what you will want in REM sleep. Like you can see how it goes up, down, up, down, up, down. Even though that there are like flow limitations and stuff. Here I'm not really waking up until like here I barely did, because that's the full obstruction again. Here the machine helped me out, but I barely did wake up maybe right here. But these are still like seesaw patterns. You would want this more in REM sleep. Although I would say that these things you would not want, where it just stops like this. Because if the machine didn't help me out, this would have barely flatlined. This would have barely just been a complete obstruction the whole time. So, but my body is going more into REM sleep, which it first wasn't at all. So it's feeling more safe. This is deep sleep again, which you can see. And then here it enters REM sleep again, I'm guessing. So, wait, no, this is just instability from the recovery breath that happens. You see the small apnea that we talked about earlier again. See here, can breathe in, out, sharp, in. Here it collapses early. Here you can see that same pattern here, but it only went in a little bit. And so forth. Here is just full on I don't know what's happening here. Maybe I'm turning around, or these are actually me not being able to breathe. I mean, look, same pattern here. Really rough in, really rough in, rough. All of these are really rough. More. Here it's completely cut off, like you can see. And I think later on I'm gonna show you guys. There should be more like REM sleep, like you can see it from, let's zoom out. All of these parts where it has like all of these ones lined up, those are more like REM sleep stages. So I think maybe right here. It also doesn't tag any of these, by the way. It's really bad at tagging stuff. Like here, you can see this is tagging it. Oh, this is actually tagged correctly. But for me, it mostly fails to correctly tag these as like any event. Like I think it only said RDA 0.09. Yeah, you can totally see that. Flow limitation 0.28. I think it only tagged it once. Or no, 3 times. See, it said I had 3 times that I was flow limited, and it said I was 1 time obstructed. That's just weird. Doesn't work like that. So here you can see, trying to breathe in, it doesn't work. I got cut off. Here I'm not even trying, maybe. I don't know, maybe I am. But here you can see that the machine is trying to make me breathe in, and I can't. Why? Because I'm fully obstructed. I can't breathe, so I tried to breathe out again. This is kind of scary, honestly. Can breathe in here again, and then I can finally breathe in. And I calm down quickly. So normally, if your O2 is too high, I would say that you would be seeing a lot of centrals after here. So you should look out for that. Like if you're getting some kind of obstruction, then a peak in for like recovery breath, so you get a lot of oxygen in, and then your body doesn't know what to do with it that much. It wants to like make it more neutral because you gasped in too much maybe, and then you start seeing a lot of centrals here. For me, that's only like a little bit. Like you can see that I'm breathing in. This right here is probably not obstruction, it's probably more central. You can see that it's like, how many seconds? 3 seconds almost. So 3 seconds, then I have a normal breath. Here it tries to stabilize probably again. And then the central like breath lessen to 1 second. So when you have EERS, so rebreathing your own CO2 with extra tubing, then you have faster calibration of your breaths basically, which you can see here is doing it well. So I don't feel like I would need to add more EERS here. These are cut off more. Going further. Here you can also see a cutoff with the tiny breathing in, doesn't work. Slight exhale, and I'm probably just getting really tired here. You can see I'm not even trying that much anymore. Here too. Here I can't fully inhale without the machine helping me, and so forth. And 2, and here too, cut off again. Here you can see it's obviously like it, you just sometimes don't look at individual breaths, look at the whole picture. That's another tip I have right here. And look at these breaths. What's going on here, right? You can see that I'm breathing in, and it gets like cut off already here a little bit. Here too, a bit more effort, and then I can't. You can see right here, I'm trying to breathe in, it just stops. And it's really apparent here. I try a little bit more, but it doesn't work, even though I want to breathe in more. Here you can see collapse happens, because here my air hunger is big, okay? This is not a central. If it gets cut off before, then you're having more obstruction. If it's big and not cut off, then you're probably more likely to have a central. So those are like the two opposites basically of what happens. So here, if you can see some kind of not breathing, that's all obstruction here. So that just goes to show, what should we do with this night? It's not like, oh, I want to solve one breathing. You have to look at the whole night and then go, okay, what's happening more? Is it the centrals or is it the obstruction? That's what I've been going through. So for me right here, it's most likely obstruction that happens that I have to fix. So that's what I'm gonna do next night. And let me think if I can show a few more things. So right here, this is the respiratory rate average, and what I would suggest you look at is whenever, I'm not sure if on ResMed it goes like with the line in the middle, because this is the average that you can see right here. Average right here, this is a bit low, so this would be not getting enough air. And then when it's above the line, like right here, you're gasping more for air. So you're breathing faster, you want to breathe in more because you're not getting enough air. And when you're seeing these ones under, then you're under ventilating, you're not getting enough air. Maybe you're trying enough, so it's similar to this under it, or you're not trying enough. Then it is not like this and it's just under. So right here, if I go, you can also see that right here, they're more underventilated. Why? Because they have these things right here. I'm still breathing enough, but I mean, here's some flow limits, but you can see these small parts here where I'm not breathing, and they're extending basically the respiratory rate, so it goes down. If I zoom out, here you can see it's down. If I go more to a part right here, you're probably gonna see it's more of a seesaw pattern. Right here, see? More of a seesaw. Sometimes there's one breath like this, but they're all seesaw. That's how you can see a lot of things. So here I'm trying to breathe quicker because I'm probably not getting enough air volume in for some reason. So I can't really show any pictures of where I'm under ventilating, I think. Maybe on one of my first days with this machine, like right here. This was one of the first days. Oh yeah, here you can clearly see it. See right here, I was, how much EERS? Just 75 cc, and I was on PS of 6. So I couldn't sleep with 6 PS and only 75 EERS. Right here, you can see the average is really high, so 16. But right here, you can see that for some reason, I'm underventilating by a lot. So let me go here. They're also really flow limited, but right here you can see the pressure pulse. I don't know what pressure pulse means here, but you can see that I'm not like trying to go higher, and there's no recovery afterwards, neither here. So I would think that even though it looks so weird, right, this it could still be obstruction plus getting over ventilated here. So that's why it's like just weird like this. See, there's no like recovery breath, only there. But all of these aren't even like seesaw that much. They're all just cut off and weird. So I'm probably not trying, but also suffocating in a way. Here the same weird thing happens. See, and these patterns are basically gone now. So what happens here? Here, similar thing happens. It's just like, you can see that it's not sharp, like I showed you earlier. It's just like, okay, maybe I'll breathe in, maybe not. Time breath helps me a bit here, but it's like, should I breathe or not? I don't know, guys. So if you up the CO2 and see these kind of breaths going away, which, just look at this here. So this is night 1, where I have 75 cc. So that means just the mask as tubing where my CO2 gets saved up, basically. I add 50 cc more right here. And suddenly all of these timed breaths also go way less. And I don't know if you can see on this graph right here. So here it's a lot more like big and up. And here it's getting a bit smaller. Let's up the cc again on the same pressure. Now it's just 2 tubings. And here you can see it's a lot better. All of the under ventilation basically just disappeared right here. And now we can see a clear image of what's happening. Like, if your normal breathing right here, so the respiratory rate is like just 2 under this line, like this, and 2 above, then you're probably in the right titration range of like checking for what's actually obstructing and stuff. Because here you can see things more clearly, and I don't think I had any of those weird breathing anymore. See, right here, where was that? Right here you can see clear obstruction now. So it also helps you with seeing the picture more clearly. Here there's also just obstruction. You can see that it's not the same as like going like wee, see? Right here it maybe is. This looks more like central, like weird pauses, but still just can't breathe in properly right here too. But since it's around the same as my titration right now, I would just not up cc anymore here, so the CO2. What happened here? Still on the same, and I think I slept with this for some nights. All on here I went to 7, but I didn't note down how much cc I went up. What did I write here? Okay, so here I have 2 cc. So let's go to the night where I had 6 still for the last time, and then 7. Okay, so here I had 6 ps. And you can see there's a lot of under ventilation here, but like that. And then the next one, here I went up, and I'm not sure if it actually went up or down that much. How much did the timed breaths go up? The timed breaths did go up, so there is also more under ventilation here, but it's hard to see. It's probably that even that 1 ps change didn't change that much in here. Although you can see that it goes really low sometimes, like it spikes up and down. Here you can see that less. It only goes 2 down right here. Here's still 3 down, so that's not that good. But right here goes 2 down, more 3, up and down, up and down. It goes a lot under there, especially here at the end. And I don't think I see that anywhere with 6 ps. Yeah, right here it's kind of more nice. Right here there is some big one. So that's basically what happens when you up the ps, because that's when the ventilation goes up. And it's kind of like the CO2 and the ps are kind of like a balance thing. if you up the PS more, then you're also gonna expel more CO2, and then you can add that again with EERS like I did here. And it's not even that much right here. So this is just 50 cc plus 50 cc and so on. If I go to the 9 PS right now, I have 4 times 50 and then 3 times 50. So that's like, I guess 4 or 5 more tubes, and that's the only thing I went up with the 9.5. So 9.5 is probably where I feel like I don't know if I can go higher than this on PS, which you can also see right here. You can see that it's mostly just the collapse that has to be solved early, and it's not just only like, where is that, flow limitations right here. It's not only these ones. You can see a lot of collapse. If it's only these ones and no collapse, then there's probably no need to add any like EPAP anymore. But for me, that basically happens, so I'm gonna try that now. Right here also I wanted to say that when you have leaks, you can't really see it right here, but maybe I have a night where I have a lot of leaks, just like a sudden leaks right here. So you see right here how there's like a lot of under ventilation happening right here. Well, that's probably because all of the CO2 leaked out here. You see? Just normal, boom, under ventilating randomly. And here there was already a leak going on. So after a while, all of the CO2 leaked out basically. I don't know why that happened, probably with my mask just going off or something. Here it's stable again. What do you see? It goes stable again. So right here, just at the end, all of those, just no leak. There we go. See? So that's what leaks can also do. And right here, I'm also gonna say how much is the PS? Here the PS is 8.5, and I've upped it now to this PS. So here it says 9.8. The PS I'm on right now is basically at that point, and what you can see right here is I've titrated up so much that the machine barely has to go up and down with PS anymore. Also, I don't know why it's so broken, by the way. It's a really weird bug, but here you can see it only went to 9.5 here. Is it? Yeah, and so on. So barely any. The day before it did go up a bit more, so right here, but it never reached the peak of the total spike of 11.5. It only went to a PS of 10.38. So that's like going up 1 or even like almost a half. I guess it's 1.5 that it went up here, but basically just normal, I would say. So like that, you can see I've come basically to the end of where I don't have to up the PS that much anymore, or not at all. I don't like, maybe even staying at like 9 would be better, but I don't know. Like you can see here, I wrote down, so either I titrate EPAP from 9 PS, or I try to titrate EPAP from 9.5. And I also wrote down that the EERS is already really good, and I can't see any central moments that go wacky. Also, I would say write down really well where you feel good and stuff. Like I've written down here this is a milestone point, so that later if I fuck something up and I want to go back to a setting where I felt good, because I'm just not gonna remember that, I know there's a milestone point here, which is at these settings, this, and the details right here, 9.5 and 11.5. So if anything goes wrong, I can just set back to here, or read from down here that the one at 9, which I have 2 days ago, this one right here, is also fine. And I also wrote down some symptoms here, I think, like that my sleep felt a bit lighter, but maybe just because I'm sick. And I'm also having more dry eye symptoms and jaw tension. So those are some things, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep that or not. I'm just gonna stay at 9 or 9.5 right now, and then see what I want to do with that. Those are big differences, by the way. Like, the way I feel right now is completely different than how I felt on 8.5 right here. Here I was still getting sleepy, and then I started titrating again, because right here you can see that I haven't left any notes. I kind of stopped titrating, but now I felt the need again too, and then I started again. So yeah, that's basically all of these things. I would just recommend you note those things down, and don't try to change these little things right here, like your PS and your EPAP and EERS, just depending on these things. I would just look at the whole picture and then figure out which thing you have the most. And then depending on if you feel crappy or not, because maybe you're feeling fine on the thing that you're on right now, you're not having much symptoms anymore, you don't care, then you can just leave it be. Otherwise you could be like, okay, which thing am I seeing the most? Okay, right now I'm seeing the most obstruction. There's no like central, so let's do the next thing. Let's up EPAP and see what happens. That's how you should titrate it. I don't think you should titrate like, oh, there's still more obstructions and I have already done like 1, but I'm feeling worse. And what if I feel worse on like 1 more? Then don't up it. If you're feeling worse by upping EPAP by like 1, then already stop it and try something else. If you're feeling the same or kind of a bit bad, maybe try to go up a bit more to see what happens. But yeah, I don't know, it's just kind of weird. And another tip I have is that if you go up to, let's say, EPAP of 7, and you couldn't really feel a difference between 4, then 4.5, then 5, then 5.5, and so on. Once you get to a certain level, try to randomly switch back to your old one here, and then see how you feel. If you feel way better, then you know that you've gone in the wrong direction, and you might have to dial back. If you feel a lot better, then you're probably going into the right direction. Sometimes seeing these little things just maybe isn't enough, and you need like a big gap of exposure to see the difference. For me, for example, with the 8.5, 9.5, there was a huge difference already in how I felt during the day. I feel like a lot less sleepy, and I've also upped the ears, as you can see here. So here I have 1 tubing, and then with the 2 PS up, I added 2 more tubings. So that's basically all I think I will say for this video. If you guys have like more questions, I can go more in depth about certain things and my thoughts and stuff on it. But this is just my reasoning with all of these things. I had to figure these things out myself or through help from some other people. But at least I can share it on YouTube with all of you now, how I think about this and how I've been titrating it up. And that's basically it. I hope all of you will be doing okay and stay strong, please. You can do this. It's like really difficult, and it's gonna take a lot of time, but it's so worth it to try to do this while you're also getting all of your other things checked up, like I said in the big video, checking out your palate size, how recessed your jaw is, how much is impacting your airway, and if your tongue doesn't have a tongue tie so that it doesn't keep falling off. Those are the things I would check for first with an airway orthodontist. So make sure you check those things out. Make sure you actually go to one that knows about all of this stuff, and check out the links under my other video, because there I put resources to understand these concepts better about anatomy things that can go wrong, like the jaw and tongue ties and stuff. So anyways, I'm yapping more, but just stay well. I know it's hard. Goodbye, guys.